Welcome back. This is Dr. David Morwood. I'm a board-certified plastic surgeon, and this is Your Health radio and television program. And I'm very delighted to have as my second guest today, Neva Osterlow, licensed esthetician.
Hello, how are you?
Well, I'm delighted to have you on the program. Thanks for coming.
No problem.
Now, Neva Osterlow, you are a licensed esthetician here in Monterey. Now, let's start by explaining to our viewers and our listening audience what a licensed esthetician is.
Okay, well, in the state of California, there is a required 600 hours of education in order to become a licensed esthetician. Those 600 hours are divided up between what my school called practical and theory hours. Theory is in more of a educational setting, textbook. You're learning from teachers who have been in the business for a really long time. Everything from exactly what you're touching when your hands are on somebody's face, to what products would be best for different skin types. The practical hours are when you're actually performing the treatments or the waxing services or anything that an esthetician would offer. Okay,
so Neva, let's zero in on what are the services that an esthetician offers? Like, what does an esthetician do?
An esthetician can either offer makeup services, waxing services, skin analysis, facial treatments. We can also offer back treatments. Depends on where you work, what you might want to offer your clients.
Okay, so when you say skin services or skin treatment, what do you mean by that?
Well, a facial is a basic service that any esthetician would offer. It is a skin analysis, a thorough skin analysis, a deep cleansing, an exfoliation, anything that your particular skin type would need to be more healthy and to allow treatment products to penetrate your skin better. Anything that you might need, we're there for.
Okay, so it sounds to me like an esthetician or a licensed esthetician does skin analysis and skin treatment and skin care.
Right.
So, Neva, do estheticians set up shop by themselves? Do you work for a salon? Do you work for a dermatologist? Can you work for a plastic surgeon? How's that go?
Well, the great thing about this line of work is you can learn exactly what you want to do and what type of esthetician you want to become when you're in school. Some people will go straight from school to open their own businesses, their own spas. Some people, like myself, their goal is to work for a plastic surgeon, so you can have a hand at more of the medical side of aesthetics and learn a little bit deeper what you're touching and what happens in the skin. You can also work at day spas. You can become a sales rep for different skincare companies. There's so many different options for estheticians today. So
Neva, I've read and I understand that they're predicting in the next 10, 15, 20 years, especially in California, where people are exposed to the sun a lot and they go outdoors a lot and they're in the wind and their skin kind of gets weathered. I understand that the prospects for aesthetic work in estheticians really is growing and booming.
Right, yeah, it is, and it is more important now than it has ever been and will continue to be more important for people to take care of their skin. From environmental factors to aging and skin conditions and disorders and everything that you could possibly think of. It's definitely in the past 10 years even has gotten a lot more important for estheticians.
I understand,
yeah.
and well it should. So Neva, one of the things I like to do on this program is if there's some young people listening or a young person, say they're in high school and they're thinking about becoming a licensed esthetician. Now, what's the path that they must take before they can work in a salon or work for a plastic surgeon, say?
Well, you go through the you can choose what type of school you'd like to go to. I went to a private school in San Francisco.
Let me interrupt you for a second.
Yeah.
So you finish high school,
right?
And then you apply to esthetician school.
Right. People of any age can decide to go this way in their career. Any age can, or any education level a person can enter a aesthetic school.
Okay, and you've got to have 600 hours of training.
Right.
And it sounds like there's some practical work, sort of clinical work, and some book work. Is that right?
Exactly.
So what type of person seems to make a good esthetician?
Well, an esthetician has to work well with their hands. They need to definitely be able to work well with people, seeing as how you'll see many people during the course of one day. You need to want to work really hard, and you need to know what you want for your future. And just shoot for it and study hard and really enjoy all the time in school.
Right. Well, Neva, it sounds as well that if a person wants to be an esthetician, they need to enjoy touching people, and they need to enjoy being close to people.
Right.
It's not the kind of job where you might sit at a desk and just talk to people on the phone. You've got to be able, I mean, your job actually involves touching people.
Yes, that's one of the most important things about what I do, is the connection that you make with people, and the way that you help them solve problems and figure out what's going on with their skin, which can be a big burden for some people. So.
Right. Well, Neva, as you know, and as our viewers and listeners know, I'm a board-certified plastic surgeon, and what strikes me is that many people will come in considering plastic surgery, but I like steering them first in the direction of taking good care of their skin.
Right.
And I know that just about everybody in California has been exposed to years of the sun. Isn't that right?
Yes, definitely.
So let's talk a little bit about skin care. Is it possible to reverse sun damage? Is it possible to minimize, say, fine lines of the face or pigment changes?
Yes, it's always better to prevent any sort of sun damage or problems with your skin, but you can treat already existing problems, and estheticians are really great for both. We can help you learn how to prevent further damage and treat existing damage.
Okay, so it sounds like, let's say we start with a person in grade school. We're going to discourage them from laying out on the beach and baking in the sun. Isn't that right?
Yes.
So if
at
we
all
can,
possible.
Right. So if we can minimize sun exposure, that's a good first step, right?
Right.
So what about people who need to, say, work outside or who do find themselves out in the sun a lot?
Well, for those people, I would suggest just being aware of sun protection, always having some sort of either a cream or a powder or something that has SPF in it that you can apply a few times during the day.
Let's say you have a guy.
Okay.
Let's explain to a guy what is a facial.
Okay. Well, the facial process begins with a double cleanse, a really deep cleanse after a full analysis of what your skin needs, followed by an exfoliation if you need it to remove any surface debris, dead skin cells, anything that can make your skin function more healthy. Then it goes on, we have treatment masks, specialty masks, we have all sorts of different peels is another form of an exfoliation. But we also incorporate massage, things that will make the skin more lively, will plump in your skin, will relax you, and relax those lines that we that we see during the day. And
Well, Neva, already it sounds to me like a facial not only is it good for you, it probably feels good too.
oh
Isn't that
yeah,
right?
yeah. It's one
So-
of the great things about it.
Kind of two for the price of one.
Yeah.
So can we talk more specifically about a facial? So it starts with analysis,
Right.
and there are different skin types, or you look for different conditions, or degree of sun damage, or how's that work?
We do. We look for all of those things. Any conditions that we specifically should target and try to help during the facial, if at all possible. But just analysis as far as their skin type, what type of cleanser, what type of mask and cream would be appropriate for them. And then we move on through the facial using exactly what they need based on what we find in the initial analysis.
So it sounds like you'll oftentimes recommend at-home programs or at-home regimens, or they take products home. How's that work?
Well, the thing with aesthetics is that what we achieve in the treatment room is very important, but what's even more important is to follow up that treatment at home, to have a pretty strict skincare regimen, because you want to see those results that we are able to give you in the treatment room all the time.
Okay. So a person will come in, let's say a guy comes in, and you'll do a facial analysis and start the treatment with a facial or skincare, and then you'll proceed with some treatments and also recommend a home care program.
Yes.
So what type of home care programs might you recommend?
Well, the general pieces that everybody needs is a cleanser, toner, moisturizer, all based on your skin type and skin conditions, of course. But for men specifically, we also, certain skincare lines have shaving products that will help protect your skin better, rather than a more alkaline, shaving cream or something. We have things like that for men, and different sun protection that is waterproof or sweat-proof, anything that would help them get through their day with their lifestyle.
Okay. Is the facial for a woman different than the facial for a man, for example, or is it all pretty much the same?
Not necessarily, with the exception of a little bit more facial hair maybe to get around. Other than that, they're the same type of treatment. Very relaxing and very thorough and very beneficial.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Now, Neva Osterlow, you're a licensed esthetician.
Yes, I
and you
am.
practice here in Monterey.
Yes, I do.
So how do people contact you?
They can contact me by calling the number 831-646-8661. They can ask for me, or they can ask to see me for a skin analysis or a facial treatment, anything that they might need.
Well, sounds great. So I'm going to read that to our viewers again.
Okay.
Neva Osterlow at 646-8661. You're a licensed esthetician, and you specialize in skin care and skin analysis and skin treatment.
Yes, I do.
Well, Neva, sounds like, once again, like most of my guests, we've barely scratched the surface. I appreciate you coming on the program.
Thank you.
I hope you'll come back.
I will. Thank you, definitely.
I'm Dr. David Morwood. I'm a board-certified plastic surgeon, and this is Your Health radio and television program. We're going to come right back after a very brief pause for a very good cause. Thank you for joining us.